Bend the knee!
Valamogolis, everybody. This is Don Willie back again with another video, and this is another edition of Game of Thrones. Will it happen in the books? And this one is going to be for Season 7, Episode 1, Dragonstone. So starting off with Arya Stark, we know that she pretended to be Walder Frey, gathered all of his sons at a feast, poisoned them, watched them all die, and then told his wife to tell everyone that winter has come for House Frey and that the North remembers. So the question that we have here is, will Arya Stark use the face of Walder Frey in order to slaughter the rest of his children back at the Twins as revenge for the Red Wedding? And for this one, I'm going to say no. I think that it's going to be Lady Stoneheart who actually gets revenge on Walder Frey, and it is going to be far more gruesome than what Arya did. So next up, we have a vision of Bran seeing the White Army, the Night's King, etc., headed towards the wall, I would assume. Hopefully that's what he's doing. And, he goes to Castle Black. Dolorous Ed and the rest of the Night's Watch at Castle Black actually let them in through the wall, and presumably they will be safe on the other side. So the question is, will Bran and Mira make it to the wall and have Dolorous Ed let them through so that they can finally cross back south into the north? Damn, that's a weird question. Anyway, my answer to this one is both yes and no. I do believe that Mira will make it south, but I don't believe that Bran is actually leaving that cave, at least not in the Winds of Winter. I think that Mira and Bran will travel back separately. Next up, we have King Jon Snow addressing the Northern Lords, telling them what they need to do in order to prepare for winter, and the arrival of the Night's King and his army, and also doling out some justice and saying that the Karstarks and the Umbers, they don't need to have their lands and titles stripped because of a couple of rebellious members of the family. Unfortunately, Sansa tries to undermine him in front of the other Northern Lords. So the question is, will Sansa try to undermine Jon and make him look like a fool in front of the other Northern Lords? And to this one, I'm going to say no. I think Book Sansa has learned too much from Littlefinger to do anything so overt. Next up, we go to King's Landing. We have the Twincest twins themselves, Jaime and Cersei, strategizing in Cersei's new map room and talking about how they are going to have to find new allies to face the coming threats of Daenerys, the Reach, Dorne, possibly the Vale, also possibly the Riverlands now that the Freys are gone, and also possibly the North. And while Cersei states that she is the queen of the Seven Kingdoms, Jaime says 3 at best. But Cersei has a trick up her sleeve. She has a brand new ally that she has called to pledge his allegiance to her in King's Landing. That is none other than Euron Greyjoy. So the question is, will Cersei ally herself with Euron Greyjoy in order to win the support of the Iron Fleet? And I'm going to have to say yes to this one, and that is thanks to the other Don of this whole thing, Tony Teflon. Pretty sure Tony's got this one right. I will not argue against him when it comes to this. Alright, so we already know that Sam is at the Citadel, so honestly speaking, I do not see any reason to do a prediction for Sam. We know he's there, we know what he's doing, and besides, I have a totally different prediction for Sam that I do not think will happen in the show whatsoever. So you're gonna have to look out for a Sam Theory video in the near future. So we're just gonna skip right over him. Sorry there, kid. Let's take it back to the Riverlands. So Arya meets up with a group of Lannister soldiers, and they are not at all what she expects. You know, she's looking to kill them as soon as she meets them because they are Lannister soldiers. And let's be honest, she has not had the greatest time with any Lannister soldiers as of yet. So the question that we have here is, will Arya come across some enemy soldiers, not necessarily particularly Lannisters, but just enemies of the Starks, and decide to spare their lives because she finds out that not all of them are bad just because they're fighting against her family? And for this one, I'm going to have to say no. I think that the Ghost of High Heart got it right when she called it Dark Heart because her heart is cold. Speaking of the Riverlands, we get the Hound hanging out with the Brotherhood Without Banners. They go to a place that the Hound had been before with Arya, where he actually robbed a man and then told Arya that him and his daughter were going to be dead by the winter, so the money that he stole would be better in the Hound's hands anyway. After this, he happens to get a vision from the Lord of Light, seeing the White Walkers headed towards Eastwatch by the sea. So the question here is, will the Hound possibly get a vision from the Lord of Light that inspires him to go north to fight against the White Walkers? For this one, I'm going to say no. I think that the Hound's fate lies to the south, not the north. I don't think he's stepping anywhere near the north. Back in Old Town again with Sam and Gilly, and still I got nothing for Sam. Look, he already knows about Dragonglass. We already know about Dragonglass. Stannis already told him about Dragonglass in the books and how they have it all mined out, or they're supposed to be trying to mine it from Dragonstone right now. And yeah, I'll be honest with you, I got nothing to do with this right now. I'm just glad that Sam and Gilly are safe, and finally the baby has grown a little bit, and apparently now it looks like, from all the Reddit stuff, Sam might find a cure for Jorah's grayscale. But we'll talk about that in another episode of Will It Happen in the Books. And finally, last but not least, Daenerys finally makes it to Dragonstone. We've been waiting for this pretty much since episode 1. She's finally in Westeros. She's finally going to begin the conquest of the Seven Kingdoms. She's got Tyrion by her side. She's got Grey Worm, Missandei, Varys, whoever else. Honestly speaking, there is absolutely nothing that I can add to this part right here. So, look, you already know the deal. Rate, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends to come back for more, and let me know what you guys think about these predictions. Valo Dohiris.